You're with us here in Business Today, and we're dissecting the makings of the most recent cover, which featured India's Finfluencers, the rise of financial influencers today. A handful of young, energetic, and extremely charismatic individuals who really made a fantastic name for themselves and a living out of sharing financial advice across social platforms. Joining us for this discussion, we've got Sourav Majumdar, the editor of Business Today, Bandeep Singh, Anirban, Ghosh, and Nilanjan, key in putting together this fabulous cover and all its various formats. And I'm going to dive into that conversation in a moment. But before I do, Sourav, why don't you set the tone? Share with us, why you chose to go with Finfluencers this time around and how it was a especially fun cover to do, given the nature of the story.
The cover story itself was very, very interesting, and it was fun to do because we wanted to do something very different from the usual kind of hard detailed stories which we do, but this is detailed anyway, but in a different kind of young, peppy form, kind of a look and feel to it. We wanted to tell the stories of these young influencers, not all young though, but we wanted to tell the stories of these people who are actually coming in and giving advice on video on YouTube to the millions of new investors who are coming into the market as the markets reach new highs. Now, to tell that story, because these guys really resonate with the investors, right? So we wanted to bring that feel also into the story and the cover. So what we tried to do, and Bandeep played his usual magic with that. We really got into a situation where we wanted to project that onto the cover. So Bandeep's idea of, if you see the cover, Bandeep's idea was of reflecting the faces of those people onto the mobiles which they are holding on their hands, and I thought that itself was a very edgy concept. And then that whole color scheme which Nilanjan and Anirban came through with, that the background, etc., runs into the same series even within the cover story. Because this story needs to be told in the edgy manner in which these people actually impart the advice. So if it was not edgy in itself, it wouldn't have worked.
Mandeep, let me come to you on this, because you're the one with the vision. You're the one who's actually spent the time conceptualizing how best to kind of take this and put it into print in terms of a layout, grabbing attention. In your experience, I mean, how was this different to some of the other stories that you've done, and what were you trying to really create with the set that finally came to light?
I was, it was a very, very exciting story for me to do. Business Today normally has not been doing stories like this. It was, they were hardcore, business and management stories with corporate people in corporate boardrooms. This was a very fresh story and also a fresh new editor. And so, we were very, very excited to do something new, create a new look, create a new vibe to the magazine. And Sourav was very encouraging, very, he threw the gauntlet very excitingly that, Bandeep, let's come up with something really, really exciting. The whole concept was to use the body language, the props, the visual language was to be the one that the financial influencers actually use for their own videos. So what I did for that was, get on to taking elements which they do while shooting their own videos. I pulled out from their own visual language. I saw their videos. I made a checklist of their videos, and I saw that, all of them at some point use ring lights for lighting themselves. So this entire shot, this entire sequence, both for the cover as well as for the inside, was done using ring lights. Now, ring lights are specialized lights which a lot of influencers use for creating their own videos on the net. It's a standard light which gives a all-round, illumination to the face, and it's standard equipment for making home videos. So what I did was create the entire look and feel of the images using ring lights. For the cover, we did this concept of the influencers taking their own videos. Normally people hold the camera, the mobile phone in front of themselves and take their own videos. So for me, that became a very exciting starting point to build up on this idea. So the whole concept was to get a face within a face, to get a persona with the personality. Reflects what these people do and, dovetails into the concept beautifully. What the challenge was in this whole, photo shoot was to photograph using the same lighting and create the same effect in two different cities. We did Ankur and Pranjal in Delhi, and Rachna had to be photographed in Pune. So you had to actually recreate exactly the same lighting so that you could blend Rachna into the photograph. And that's precisely what I did. I carried the ring lights with me to Pune, and in Rachna's small studio, moved all her lights away and put the ring lights and photographed Rachna with the ring lights. Similarly, for inside images, we photographed all the influencers with the ring lights, using ring lights not just as a lighting device, but also as a device to, create different zeros in the frame, the number zeros in the frame. So that the zeros also become a part of the Finfluencer visual language, as they have followers in multiple zero numbers, with multiple zeros. And they also help in finance, so that the zero came again handy over there as a symbol. And then again, the color scheme for this whole thing was created using red and the white of the ring lights. It was laid out beautifully by Nilanjan and Anirban, and what you have is a cumulative magic of the team.
Amazing. And we can definitely see that Nilanjan, Anirban as the creative minds involved in, creating the layout, the thought. Tell us what went into this cover vis-a-vis others, what you found interesting, what you feel really worked.
So we started with a couple of options, especially the headline style and colors. If you look at the headline style, we have a lot of space in between the words. So that creates a kind of a internet approach. If you see the fonts, the style on internet, on web, or on social media, they're smartly designed. The font we have used here is a sans serif font, which is kind of a businessy as well as a tech font, because the whole influencers are based on technology as well. Without technology, they are not there. So, and already there was a lot of interesting young faces, and which you hardly see on a business cover. So this was a huge kind of a win-win for all of us. Being great story, great photographs, and with design. If you see in inside also, the same treatment is followed across the pages of the magazine, and the designs are exactly the same. And it kind of blends into the design. It's like a window shopping. When you're looking at a magazine on the cover, and then slowly I'll drag you inside the cover story. It's a seamless approach. Also, what we have tried here, we have created immersive on the social media as well as on the internet. So the whole design language is also kind of a modern internet language.
Story was interesting itself, no doubt about it, to work on. So we were really excited when got the opportunity to design it, Nilanjan, right? And that same time, we had to keep in mind this story should be edgy, contemporary, and minimal. These three words is very important for us because this is the new kind of approach we produce. The Bandeep's ring light composition is extremely excited. Why we just try to minimal approach with the layout that the picture should be pop out. That's why the lot of white space we use on the layout. That is our main focus. The picture should be pop out. And one thing is very, I must say, one thing we should introduce. We use in the inside layout a lot of icon, the YouTube interface, like share button in the layout. Because to easily connect with the cover story, the actual subject. That's our main priority.
Amazing. And all of these things are, critical in kind of bringing it together as a whole, which is what we clearly saw with the story. And that's why we wanted to speak to all of you, because we can see the kind of layers and, and how they've all kind of seamlessly come together. Saurav, everyone's referring to this as contemporary, as edgy, as a new style that business today is taking forward. Would you share with us a little bit more in terms of the thinking and style-wise, design-wise, creatively, what you're looking forward to doing with the magazine?
Today a magazine cannot just be restricted to a printed version, right? So that's where this whole experience of online, where through BT Immersive comes in so much, where we put in various elements of multimedia into the long form story which we are doing, and which is now evident in the manner in which we have played out, and thanks to your help as well in many of these cases, with beautiful pictures, beautiful layouts, and video interviews put into that story, where when you read it even online, it gives you a 360-degree immersive experience of that story. Now, this is what, in fact, that's why this issue itself is so important and dear to all of us here, is because this announces the new BT in a sense. We want to tell the world that here we are, edgy, contemporary, and ready for the world, where you will get stories which are relevant, stories which are interesting, and stories which you can then immerse yourself in.
So, Nilanjan, Anirban, you touched upon the design language, but tell us, taking forward what Saurav just said, the new philosophy, how it'll apply overall when it comes to the magazine, how it intersperses with the imagery that Bandeep creates, how that alignment's coming together in terms of what kind of mood or flavor you're trying to portray. Is the magazine moving very consciously from a very serious business effect to a more contemporary look, or is it a more gradual, phased out kind of evolution that you're planning?
What BT is trying to do is it is creating an easy visual mix of print digital together. If you look at the magazine, you get a feel of online. If you look at online, you get a feel of the magazine, which is a very important part of visual language. And whereas Bandeep's photo, if you look at Business Today cover and inside photographs, they are shot in a very edgy manner, which has a modern language to it. And when you look at together with the design and visual representation, you will see a new language which will kind of come and kind of explain everyone. And I think most of other magazines are going to follow. We are creating a path for rest of the magazine fraternity to follow us. We are creating a new way of designing. It's like let me give you an example. It's like Apple's iPod or Apple's iTunes created a new language to music and technology. Same way BT is creating a language of digital, television, print together into a hybrid kind of a product to the market.
This is actually the new BT equal to M2M solution, this magazine to mobile.
Absolutely. Bandeep, share with us some more insights and anecdotes from the shoot. I know I visited you on set briefly just as they were getting warmed up, but even when you were traveling and meeting with some of the others like Rachna, anything that you'd like to share with us behind the scenes?
No, it was fascinating. These people were such a bundle of energy. And what was very curious, because in Delhi, we had Pranjal especially flying from Raipur, and two Himanshu and Mukesh were from Gurgaon, and they had come down, and Ankur had come from Faridabad. Okay. And what I immediately, saw that all of them knew about each other. They were. So I asked them. I said, "Do you see yourself as competitors? Do you say कि तुम्हारे 5 लाख followers हैं, मेरे 7 lakh followers हैं? Do you have this kind of thing, this race going amongst yourselves?" And so each of them had very curiously the way they were informed about each other's work, and the way they knew about how they were asking, "Aapne ye kiya tha, aapne ye kiya tha us din, you did that. In your video, you said this thing." Clearly, they follow each other very, very closely. Ankur was a natural, completely. He's used to getting photographed, and he has that look for the camera, which was amazing. Pranjal had to catch up, and all during the photo shoot, I could see Pranjal move from a very conscious, self-conscious person to this amazingly confident person, all in the space of a couple of hours. And this was remarkable. This also, gave me an insight as to how fast these people are learning on the job, adapting, learning, picking up information, picking up things on the go. The same thing with Rachna. Rachna, when I went to Pune, Rachna operates out of, a 6 feet by 6 feet studio, which barely has room to accommodate. Yet she's so comfortable. She's so much at home over there. They're all dressed till the top, till the waist, and waist down. They're all in comfort clothing, and do their recordings.
Thank you all so much for taking the time out and sharing this with our viewers, giving them a sense of, a holistic view of what we're doing here at Business Today. Thank you.